single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day.
Let's talk. My name is Toya. Welcome to my channel. And today what we doing, we talking about my 600-pound life, the story of Angela J, season 7. I believe this was episode 20. But before we do that, first of all, I just want to thank all my new subscribers. Thank y'all so much. And to those of you who watch my videos, who like my videos, who have not subscribed yet, I'm going to give you a second. Go to subscribe. Did you do it yet? All right, let's get started, y'all. Angela J. I had to pull out the big guns with Angela J because tea was not enough. Tea was, if you watch this episode, you know that tea was not enough to make it through this episode. I will say, I'm going to make a disclaimer. I am going to recap this episode, do commentary based on three point of views. Number one, coming from the point that Angela was very immature. We haven't talked about her history yet, but she had a baby when she was 13, 17, and then again, I think at 20. This lady never grew up. So I'm going to talk about the story coming from the perspective that, one, she's very immature. Two, she has behavior issues. Now, this wasn't me. Dr.Now made it very clear that she had behavior issues and behavior problems. So, two, I'm going to be coming from the perspective that she has behavior problems. And three, I'm going to be coming from the perspective that she's an addict and she has problems, because there's a whole nother way that we could have went about this. We're not going to go there. We're not going to go there because we could go there, but we not. But let's just jump into this right now. This episode starts like any other. Angela's getting out the bed. Her daughter, Desiree, who we are going to talk about at length in a little bit, comes in, helps her take a shower, helps her get ready. Now, she's talking to the camera and she's like, you know, Desiree really takes care of me because I don't want my husband, Justin. We're definitely going to talk about Justin. I don't want him to look at me like that. I want to keep our relationship husband and wife. So the story starts there. She's not bedbound. She can get up. She can move about. She's pretty much house confined. You know, she can get up and move around the house, but it's really uncomfortable and she don't like doing it as much. So starts out, Desiree's cooking her breakfast, and then her brother comes over, brings her some tacos, and then Desiree goes to the store, and this is where we get our first scene. But I'm going to stop right there, and we're going to do her history, and then we're going to go to this first scene. She described her childhood as hard. Now, she said her mother was an alcoholic. She said her father was an addict, and he was abusive to her mother. That was her life. Now, it said 8 years old, she was a victim of sexual abuse by a friend of the family, told her mom, and she just never felt protected because pretty much seems like nobody did anything. Age of 13, she's 260 pounds, started dating this 27-year-old man. She got pregnant by this man. Age of 17, meets another guy, has another baby. Age of 20, another guy, another baby. So now she's 20 years old. She has 3 kids, but she did give the first one up for adoption. But to me, it just didn't seem like she wasn't parented much. So not only did she grow up fast, she wasn't parented, she started going in and out of jail. And while she was going in and out of jail, Desiree, who's the one that's her caretaker now, was living with her father. We're going to talk about that later. So she talks about during the age of 26 to 36 kind of was a blur to her because that's when she battled addiction. 32, she hurt her knee and she said that was okay. Good and bad point in her life because she got sober for a little bit, but it left her immobile because pretty much she just blew out her knee. Now let's talk about Desiree. Now, if we do the math, Desiree is about 22. Desiree is the daughter that Angela had when she was 17 years old. And also, if you listen to the history, you will hear that Desiree really was raised by Angela's father, who she said was an addict and also was abusive to her mother. So we don't know anything additional to the story. We don't know if he got clean through all of this. We don't know that. We're very limited to this information. But I would wager, I would almost want to bet some pretty hard, cold cash that Desiree's story growing up, her history was very similar to Angela. And my plea, should Desiree ever should happen to see this, my plea is that Desiree, that you would take care of your children and that you would make them first and that you would stop and break this cycle. My plea is that you would go get help from a psychologist, talk through whatever needs to be talked through, get help from a doctor, and try to get your weight under control so that you can break this cycle and that you don't end up in the same place as Angela. I think that you are very mature, especially seeming everything that you went through. And I feel like you're very mature, and I hope that you go on to be successful in life and be a very good mother and be there for your children. I did want to stop and make that comment to Desiree, because I felt like Desiree didn't really have a voice in this show. She tried to as much as she can, but she just was not allowed to have a voice during this story. So now we got to talk about this scene.
Going to Houston because your boyfriend is giving me about it.
What'd he do?
So I think that he's mad from the other day when there was a conversation that if I was to look for a doctor in another area, he insinuated he didn't even want to come to Houston so I can get the help I need. So all I said was, how about get a life? And he jumps up, runs his mouth, comes up, says, I'm a... You think that's normal? And I said, why don't you get a life?
He said, we're all doing this for you.
And we're all doing this for you, Angela. So he's not going to be living here.
So you want me to leave my boyfriend, move to Texas, and be okay with that?
Oh, here we go.
Right. I mean, how am I being
But your
dramatic?
boyfriend's not going to be dramatic and call me a...
I haven't even got time to address anything. I've been...
Yeah, this is what I knew was going to happen.
I'm not time to
I am
address
tired of
anything.
every single time a little thing is said around here, your dramatic boyfriend gets escalated to up here.
So then
This
I'm
little
in the,
word-
I'm in the position to pick between my
That shouldn't be
mother or my boyfriend and my child.
No, your child would still be here without your boyfriend, just like the
It's
other
not
one
even-
was.
That's not right.
Well, you do whatever you want to
Especially
do.
when you know that I'm gonna pick you.
Okay. It's never about me. It's never been about me. Ever. You guys have lived with me forever. I take care of you. I ask for one thing. One thing.
It's not my fault. Will
And
said
it
some
can't
stupid-
be something simple. I can't rely on nobody, but everybody
I'm
relies
not
on me.
saying I'm not
I'm
going.
tired. I'm tired.
I'm not
I
saying
knew
I'm
this
not
was
going.
stupid.
I've been on board since day one.
Yeah.
Angela is upset because nobody wants to move to Houston with her. Now, the people that live in the house is Angela, her boyfriend, Angela, her husband, Justin, her daughter, Desiree, and her daughter, Desiree's boyfriend, which is, what is his name? Will, and their daughter. Nobody wants to move with her. And the situation just escalates. And it seemed like Will called her out her name and they had some choice words back and forth. But it put Desiree in such a spot that was just like, and we found out the girl is pregnant. So she's physically helping Angela with all of this stuff, going through all this emotional drama and all this emotional turmoil. At the same time, she's pregnant and she also has a child. And I'm just going to leave that right there. It's month one, they get on the road to go down to Houston. Now, I don't know all the stuff that's going on in their relationship. Again, we only get a real small glimpse into their life. But the way that this lady, Angela, talked to Justin, I wanted to root for Angela so much. I wanted to be on her side. I wanted to be like, you know what? This lady been through a lot. She had a childhood that was like no other. I wanted to just really be able to advocate and fight for Angela, but she made it so hard. The way she talked to Justin, the way she talked to everybody. She talked to everybody off cuff. But again, I'm going to try my best during this to be no, I can't do that. I'm not gonna make that lie. But I'm gonna try again to think about the different perspectives that I said in the beginning. The first three perspectives: she's immature, she got a behavior problem, and then she's an addict. So I'm gonna try to keep it toned down, keeping those things in mind. So they get to Dr. Now's office. She is 643 pounds at 5'5". Now Dr. Now walks in the room. We know what he do. He's like, "Hey, how y'all doing?" And he look at them, he like, "Okay, I see I got my work cut out for me on this one." And he like, "This is a setup. This is what I don't understand when people go to show. This is a setup question." He like, "Okay, so how we get here? How are you 643 pounds? She start lying. Talking about she drink coffee in the morning and she drink coffee to suppress her appetite, and then she have a big meal at night and then she go to bed. Well, of course, Dr. Now don't play that. Dr. Now done heard that 8 billion times. He's like, "You're a lie." He's like, "You're not telling the truth." He's like, "Only thing you said that was the truth is that you eat a lot. Because you eating at least 8,000 calories a day and even more if you gaining weight." He's like, "This is sheer math." Then he looks over at the daughter. He looks at Desiree. He's like, "We got a problem. Because you got a weight problem." And then this is where it took another turn. Oh my goodness. I couldn't make it through this episode. This is where it took another turn. So Angela jumps in. First of all, Dr. Now is talking to Desiree. He is not even talking to her. Angela pops in the conversation like, "Oh yeah, and by the way, she pregnant. And not only is she pregnant, she's smoking." I'm like, okay, I can get you telling on her because she do need to be warned. And she needs to stop that. It's very unhealthy for your child and even for you while you're pregnant. So I'm like, okay, but it seemed like she just threw her under the bus any chance that she got. So Dr. Now tell Desiree, like, "You need to stop that right now. That is the most dangerous you could do for your child." And he look at Justin, he like, "You're not overweight. What's going on? What's the problem here?" And then he goes on to say, "Oh, I eat 10,000 calories. Dr. Now was like, "That is physically impossible." And he goes on, he's like, "Let me tell you what's going on here." He's like, "Y'all are," he told Angela, he's like, "You are delusional. And not only are you delusional, you have a behavior problem. And you believe the world is, everybody believe what you say. And everybody's going to go along with what you say, but that is not the case. And that's not happening here today." He's like, "This is an uphill battle." He's like, "But if you want to be in the program, you need to lose 50 pounds in 1 month. And you can move down here, high protein, low calorie diet. I want you to exercise 2 hours a day, a little bit in the AM, a little bit in the PM. If you can do that, then we can get you in our program." Angela leaves. She act like she's all for it. She act like, you know what? I mean, her attitude was never good in this entire show. She acted like, okay, I'm going to try to do that. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to save my life. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do what Dr. Now said. So they go back home and it shows her, you know, she eating the chicken breast. It looked like she's trying, but she's getting so much resistance because nobody don't want to move to Texas. The next thing we know, Justin ups and leaves. And now she really in a pickle because it's just like what they gonna do, because he was gonna, you know, be a big help in going down there. Next thing we know, it's month 4. And this is when we really start to see the behavior problems and the issues with Angela J. Oh my goodness. Month 4. It starts off, Angela is smoking a cigarette right next to her sleep apnea machine. And she's talking about how nobody is with her, nobody won't help her. She do everything for everybody else. And nobody won't make this sacrifice and move to Texas with her. So she calls Dr. Now. Dr. Now is not having it at all. Dr. Now immediately goes in. Dr. Now is like, "Look, you being wishy-washy. You said you was going to do this. You said you wanted to be in the plan. Now you need to do it. It's been 3 months since I seen you and you were supposed to lose 50 pounds. You're not taking this serious." He was like, "You need to get it together because you're on the last leg here." He's like, look, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to find somewhere local because he's like, you giving me all these excuses. He like, I'm going to find you somewhere local. And I'm going to give you 2 months and you need to lose 100 pounds. If you can do that, we put you in the program and I'll approve you for surgery. He's like, but other than that, you need to follow what I'm saying. You need to follow the rules because you're playing games right now. And of course, now Justin comes back. He back in the picture. And so he agreed he gonna help them move to Texas. But Desiree saying she not moving, which I was very here for. And I was very glad to hear that. This woman about to give birth. It's just so much stuff to this story. Like I said, like I had to really just calm myself as I was watching this episode because it was just so much that was going on. I was like, this is like a real life reality show. That's what I was like, this is a real life reality show. This is not like my 600-pound life. This is like a Real Housewives of Houston. So they take her to this local clinic to get weighed in. Mind you, she was supposed to be in lost 100 pounds because he gave her two months to lose 100 pounds. But in her mind, she already said, I don't care about that. I only got to lose the 50 pounds he originally told me. And if I lose the 50 pounds that he originally told me, that's good enough. He needs to give me a surgery. Well, she steps on the scale. She's 598. She done lost 45 pounds. And so she thinking like, oh man, I'm 5 pounds off. Bro, Dr. Now told you to lose 100 pounds in 2 months. So calls her right on the scene. This is when each time it just kind of escalates. She calls Dr. Now. Dr. Now was not having it with her this time. Now, I respect Dr. Now so much because he was so professional with her. But you know, Dr. Now is going to throw his shade in there whenever he get a chance. And he did. He was like, okay, first of all, number one, you need a calculator because your math is wrong. Because if your math is right, you would notice that 50 pounds every month, that would have been 200 pounds. And I ain't asked you to lose 200 pounds. I only asked you to lose 100 pounds. So your math is off, number one. He like, number two, he's like, I'm going to let you back in this program because you did. He was like, you did make some progress. So I'm going to let you back in this program. He's like, go ahead and move to Texas, lose 100 pounds in 2 months, and we'll get you back in this program. And then he was like, are you taking something? You seem like you taking something. She's like, I'm not taking nothing. I'm on medicine. He was like, well, either you was just high the last time because you don't remember when I told you needed to lose 100 pounds and it wasn't the 50 pounds. But he's like, that's okay. He was like, look. He's like, and she was like, oh, you was wasting my time. He was like, well, heaven forbid you waste any of our time. Because you just wasting time. You're not making the progress that you need. He was like, 10 pounds a month. That's not enough progress with the amount of weight that you need to lose. And she's like, well, ain't anything else? He's like, yeah, I'm in this call with you. He was like, but you need to lose 100 pounds and we'll see you in Texas if you want to continue in this program. But he was like, look, you seem like you high. She's like, I'm just sick. He was like, I'm a doctor. And I know when somebody high. And he was like, but I'm going to tell you what, when you come to Texas, I am going to do a toxicology report on you and make sure that there is nothing in your system that should not be. He warned her. He told her that. Now we have month 8 and Dr. Now is not having it. He comes in. She got major attitude though. She got major attitude. Although she thought like, hey, he should approve me for surgery. I don't know what show she ever watched, but she thought he maybe should approve her for surgery. And I was like, are you done with your tantrum? Are you done? Are you done? He's like, because you got big time behavior issues. You think the world just treats you unfair. Everybody just do you wrong. But that's your way of manipulating the situation and just trying to prove that the world is against you. When you try to use it and act like it's just emotions, but it's not. You have behavior problems. He was like, you did move to Houston, and I appreciate that. So if you want to stop making all these excuses, we are here to help you. So if you just want to listen to our advice, go ahead and lose the 100 pounds and we'll talk about surgery. Get on board. He's like, but I did promise you that I was going to do a toxicology report on you. I promised that. So next thing we know, it's 2 weeks later. Call her into the office. She don't know why. She has no idea what's going on. She don't know why she got called into the office. They weigh her. She's gained 5 pounds. So now she's at 594. And I think she's at a total loss in 8 months of 41 pounds, let's say. And she goes in there. Dr. Now comes in. He's like, you know why you here. She's like, well, yeah, I was smoking some marijuana. Dr. Now was like, don't try to come in here and confess now, because you've been talking all this stuff and you've been acting all this kind of way. He's like, it's too late for you to make confessions, and it's too late for you to come in here like that. He's like, number one, we found out that you've been smoking. You a heavy smoker, and you never told us that. He was like, we ain't even talking about no marijuana. He's like, we found several. He used the word several narcotics in your system, which again, this lets me know she was an addict, because she knew he was going to test her. I mean, most narcotics, they did a blood test. He said blood test. So they did the toxicology report at best a few days, a couple of days, not even a week. It'd be in your system. She couldn't stop for, let's say, a week when she knew that she was going in and he was going to take that blood test. So Dr. Now, he's still very professional and still very, keeping it real. He like, look, we only have two options. He was like, really, you have one option. He's like, weight loss surgery, we not even that's not even a concern. That's not a priority. We're not even thinking about no weight loss surgery. He's like, your only option at this point is to go to rehab. We will provide the rehab for you. You go to rehab, get clean, and then we'll talk about everything from there. He was like, I don't know what's worse. I don't know what's going to happen. He was like, the addiction will kill you, or this weight is close behind. I don't know which one is worse. It's going to take the other one out. But he's like, yeah, that's pretty much your only option. She's like, well, can I have time to think? You had 24 hours. He's like, yeah, I'm going to give you 24 hours. And of course, next thing we know, them white letters on the show. When I see the white letters, I'd be like, oh my goodness. She just abandoned the program and did not report to rehab. But the show, Dr. Now left it open. He was like, look, if she want to come back and she want to get help, there's help is still available to her. If she's willing to do the work, we are still willing to help her. Pretty much is how this concluded. And so, I mean, that's it, y'all. Like, this story was a lot. I really did wanted to root for Angela. I really did want to be on her side. I really wanted to be the advocate for her. But she made it so hard. The way she talked to everybody, the way she treated everybody. I understand, though, that she comes from a line of abuse. So it's hard, but it's just, she made it so hard. Like, y'all, I'm going to do a Dear Angela letter, because I think this lady needs it more than anybody ever. Because, like Dr. Now says, she's very delusional, and she thinks she has a behavior component on top of it. And I mean, her connections with reality are not really there. That's what made this one really hard to watch, because she was not in touch with reality as far as her life, so it seemed. So I'm so concerned about Angela and Desiree and their family. It just seemed like a bad situation all around together. So go ahead to the Dear Angela. She is going to need a lot of encouragement. I'm sure she will after that episode aired, because she was not portrayed in a good light at all. And I know we only get a glimpse of it, but in my mind, I feel like if you'll say certain things on camera, on air, while cameras are around, then if she'll say that stuff when the camera's there, when the camera ain't there, I am afraid of the stuff that she was saying when the cameras wasn't there. So she's going to need all the encouragement and support that she can get. So please go to that video and try to find some encouraging words for her. We can think of some encouraging words for her, because she did try. She did call the show. So we can come up with some encouraging words to encourage her to get back in the program. So that's it, y'all. I'm sorry. I know this was a lot. I tried to not make this one so long. I know it was so much drama in this episode with this Angela. But I thank y'all so much for watching. And if you have not subscribed, please just subscribe. Yeah, it's a lot of y'all out here watching my videos. Y'all watching, but y'all won't subscribe. I'm starting to take it personal. I am. But please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video. I'm out of here.
Please subscribe to my mommy's video. Please just find your name and